here it is, all the Trump people that voted in red states. Okay, I'm in Missouri. This is my little tiny town paper, okay? Not front page news, but second page news, okay? Right here. Madison County Senior Center to close after 50 years amid funding crisis. Leaves hundreds without meals, okay? After nearly 50 years in service, the Nutrition Center, which acts like a restaurant, except with special meal plans and activities like games and music, offering a social place for young and old alike. It also delivers meals for over 1,000 Medicaid and Title III recipients. It is with deep regret and sadness, blah, 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 that they cannot no longer serve their people. Okay, then here, Williamsville news, okay? Today, let's go back to Tuesday, the 21st is what it says right there, okay? And it says, according to a headline, Missouri lost 1.6 million pounds of federal food aid this year. Why? Setting cuts to federal programs that buys food from U.S. farmers and send it to food banks. They're not doing that anymore. Trump administration, it actually says the Trump administration, not those far left liberals. It says Trump did this back in March, late March, when Trump was the president. It says this right here. He was president. Slashed $500 million that has been allocated to food aid. That canceled 124 scheduled deliveries to Missouri food banks. There's no food stamps. Now there's no food banks. Now there's no nutritional centers. The people of Missouri did not vote in their best interest.
Hey, geniuses, we're celebrating this whole injunction thing. I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to work out for you the way you think it is. I guess you're already forgetting what happened just a couple months ago. Remember how a few months ago there was that MAGA farmer who was crying because he was about to lose his farm? And the reason he was going to lose his farm is because he had spent a bunch of money based on the fact that he was granted a bunch of subsidies thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, or the IRA, which, yes, in fact, was signed into law by Biden. Because I guess MAGA farmers need to rely on welfare and can't actually pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. In fact, he wasn't the only MAGA guy going through this sort of thing. But remember how after a couple of weeks of pretending to be open-minded and willing to learn the error of his ways, he flipped again and started going after everyone who received aid from the government, despite the fact that that includes him. And then it turned out it was because his funds got unfrozen. So once he got his, he didn't care about anyone else anymore. Classic you guys, by the way. Riddle me this. Why do you think his funds got unfrozen? A guy who was about to lose his farm, lose everything. How do you think he sued the federal government? In fact, 30,000 farmers found themselves being denied funds that they had been promised thanks to the IRA. But all of a sudden, those funds got unfrozen. Now, why do you think that is? Do you think that every single one of those 30,000 farmers sued the federal government and won immediately? Is that what you think happened? No. 5 farmers sued. 5. And they were granted an injunction, a nationwide injunction that applied to the rest of the 30,000 farmers. Once again, relying on someone else to fix your problems. Here's the thing. Thanks to the removal of these nationwide injunctions, next time that farmer who's crying about his funds getting frozen, yeah, he's going to keep crying. Because I don't know how a guy who's about to lose his farm, about to lose everything, according to him, is going to afford a big fancy lawyer to go sue the federal government. And in fact, even if he can, now he's in line with 30,000 other farmers trying to get a court date. And again, this didn't just happen to the farmers. This happened to a lot of small businesses across the nation who were provided injunctive relief when someone else sued. Red states are the biggest recipients of federal funds and the hardest hit when the Trump administration started just freezing everything. Which also means you were the biggest beneficiaries of the nationwide injunctions that were being issued just a couple of months ago. But sure, go ahead and celebrate the fact that when someone says, "Don't tread on me," to the federal government, they can still tread on everyone else. And don't forget that you're everyone else.
Somewhere in America right now, probably a red state, there is a teenage girl, a junior or senior, who just wrote an amazing paper comparing and contrasting the factors that led to the French Revolution to the state of U.S. politics today, including references to building a ballroom and the removal of SNAP benefits for the month of November for millions of people. And she's going to take that paper and she's going to hand it over to her athletic director / history teacher, who is only the latter so he can be the former, and he's going to look at his paper, roll his eyes, and give her a B- for being hyperbolic. Don't worry, Queen, we see you. Keep up the good work.
Kids in Southern Republican states will suffer the most under a Trump-era public school system. Once these state board of education told they don't have to be held accountable for where they're spending their money and how much they're spending it on our kids, you can expect to see your kid's school getting half of the money that they're receiving right now. You can expect to see special programs being cut. You can expect to see teacher salaries slashed. You can expect to see your teachers quitting in droves. You can expect to see the services and supports that your special education student are receiving right now to just disappear overnight. And we know that children in Southern Republican states are going to suffer the most because these states make more decisions that are worse for student learning outcomes. We're talking about decisions like getting rid of free lunch, not feeding your kids, and then expecting them to go 8 hours in a learning environment and be able to process and remember anything. We're talking about already underfunding student programs and special services, even though you're federally mandated to do so. We're talking about decisions like the state wanting to spend more money on Bibles for the classroom than school supplies for our kids. People that live in these states that have kids that go to these public schools are voting for people that literally don't want your child's school to even exist anymore, that doesn't even believe that your child deserves enough money to have the supplies and the staffing and the materials that they need to succeed. You're voting for a president that would prefer to slash his education budget by half, and he said that on Fox and Friends the other day, than to spend money on your child. Blue states are already making decisions that are categorically better for student health and student learning outcomes. So I don't exactly know what Trump supporters are expecting out of all this.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anthony, and it was amazing having you here. My viewers, my subscribers, commenting, engaging, it was amazing. So I'm ensure that you comment in this video so that you can make your voice heard. So to all Maga Americans, you can hate the evil liberals all you want, call us woke, whatever, but we are the ones who want to keep food on your plate when you are struggling. It's sad that you hate us so much for wanting to feed other Americans.
Somebody said that if you ask people to stay around for a minute, that they will help you. So I am asking everybody to stay around for 1 minute so that I can get out of my state. I am done living in the state of Texas. I am a 5th generation here, and it has been nothing but bad for me. And as much as I like it and I love it being here, it is time for me to spread my wings and fly and go somewhere else. I would like to move to a blue state. I'm not asking you for no money or nothing. I'm just asking y'all to stay around for 1 minute, listen to my voice, like, share, comment, and do what you got to do, because I am in the Creator Fund so that I can make enough money off this video and that I can get out of here. And I ain't even playing. When I tell y'all I'm going to walk out of here, I'm going to keep my boots on and I'm going to booty dance my way out of the state of Texas into a blue state, because this is nonsense. And when I tell you our governor is doing everything he can to make it absolutely terrible in this state, and he absolutely is doing it. It is absolutely crazy here. Being a black gay woman who is disabled is crazy, okay? Being ADHD and having autism, and you see how Robert Kennedy Jr. is talking about us. You think that it's just him. No, our entire government system is backed behind that man, and they believe everything he is saying. So when I say if y'all could just stay for 1 minute and listen to me talk so that I can get the fuck out of here, I mean that. Thank you. Thank you for staying around. Thank you for listening to my voice. I know things sound a little crazy right now, but we're going to get through it. If you listen to the end of this video, thank you. When I get out of here, I'm going to...
What is the biggest lie you believed about Democrats until you actually did your own research and learned that you were wrong? I'll go first. I didn't really pay attention to politics, and because I didn't have to, but I bought the rumblings that I heard in my conservative circles that Democrats were bad for the country because they were bad on policy, that they made everything too expensive, that they blew up the budget, that Democratic cities are running out of money, and that they're filled with crime, and they can't manage a budget, and they can't do anything right. And it turns out it's actually the exact opposite. If you look at the data over and over and over again, Republican presidents screw over our budget and our fiscal responsibility in our country, and Democratic presidents have to clean up the mess. If you look at any metric, crime, education, healthcare, quality of life, the best states, the majority of the best states are blue, and the majority of the worst states are red. The southern states, the southern red states, have the highest rates of violent crime, the lowest rates of education, the worst healthcare and health outcomes. And yet they sit on their high horses and point fingers at the blue cities in California and New York and the coastal elites and blame those folks for their problems instead of looking at the real cause of their problems, which is the policies of their Republican governors and their Republican government officials in their states. How do we know? Because in the majority of blue states, exact opposite. Best education, best healthcare, best quality of life, lowest crime. And yet there is still this enduring belief in red states that blue states and Democrats are the ones that mess things up, while people in red states, the majority of them, continue to suffer as a result of their own government's choices. And now we're seeing that happen on a federal level because people decided this is going so well in the South, we should do it everywhere. And don't get it twisted. I am not saying by any measure that the Democratic Party is not also a mess right now because their leadership cannot figure out a way to get out of their own way and meet this moment in the way that it needs to be met. But historically speaking, over recent time, the most recent administrations, which are the only ones that I bothered to look at, since the Bushes and Obama and Clinton, those people on, the Democrats have done a far better job running the government than Republicans. Where does this lie that Republicans are fiscally responsible come from? Because they're not.
This just happened and I'm still shaking, so please stick with me for just a minute. I was just coming out of my doctor's appointment when this happened. But as I was backing out of my parking space, there was nobody coming. As I was almost completely pulled out, the woman parked across from me, pulled her car out a little too fast, and she hit me pretty hard. And I jumped out of the car. She jumped out of the car. She immediately started crying. I asked her if she was okay. She said yes, she was okay. And she just kept saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you." And then she opened the back seat of her car to check on her children. She had probably about a 3-year-old, maybe a 5-year-old. And she was asking them if they were okay. She said they're fine. She was just hysterically crying, which I didn't quite understand because it was just a little fender bender. So when I looked down to look at the damage of the cars, her car had a fairly noticeable dent. Mine just had a really, really tiny, barely noticeable dent. But she just started saying to me, "No policía, por favor, no policía, por favor." And she looked so terrified. And I just said to her, I said, what's the matter? Are you undocumented? She said, "No, I have my green card, but that doesn't matter anymore." She said, "They'll call ICE. ICE will take me away." And she was shaking. She was visibly shaking. She was so scared. "Take my kids away. They're going to send me away." And I just told her, I said, it's okay. We don't have to call the police. It's fine. And she gave me the tightest hug I feel like I've ever had. And she just sobbed. I'm still shaking from this. She has a green card and she's terrified. This is Trump's America. This is the America that we're living in right now.
My friend voted for Trump here because her husband told her to do so. She has now told me she has completely stopped talking in anything political because it's depressing. I can barely talk to her. She's constantly justifying and walking it back. Anyway, maybe we are wasting our breath. They will still blame Biden because they are the best cult out there.
It's day, I think, 29 of being furloughed, and Halloween's in 2 days, and I'm just now going to get my kids' Halloween costumes because I have not had the funds for that. Like, just genuinely, we have not had the funds for that. The only reason I'm even able to do this now is because I had to pull from my retirement, and mind you, I've only been there less than a year. So I asked them, "What do y'all want?" And they're showing me things, and I'm like, we can't get the $30 costume y'all are wanting right now because there's 4 of y'all. It's not feasible. We don't know how long this is gonna last. And I'm just so like ashamed, like I did something wrong. And it's so hurtful because I get the cause, I get the reason why. And I know people are going through a lot with SNAP benefits being possibly cut. I get it. But most, if not all, I'm willing to bet federal employees before this did not receive SNAP benefits or any type of assistance, period. And now with everything happening, and you know it takes forever to get, trust and believe, like I've worked myself up to get here where I'm at. I've been on food stamps. I did everything right. Everything right. I was in the army. I've done everything. I'm 31 years old and I have 5 months left on my master's. Like, I've done everything right. The circumstances I've had to deal with in life, I beat those odds time and time again. And nobody cares. Nobody sees us at all. It's like we're put to the back burner. And now everybody's making a fuss because of that going away, which again is horrible, should not, period. Like, point blank, I've been on there. I get it. You do what you gotta do, but shit, what about us? What about us? What about us? We have kids. Like I said, we're not getting benefits. We're not. And the money's not coming in. Apply for jobs, bro. You don't think that's what I'm doing. You don't think that's what I'm doing. They don't call. And you heard my credentials. I have so many freaking certifications in IT, CCNA, Security Plus, you name it. I have it. Go Uber. If y'all didn't hear my story about my cars, you would know why I can't Uber and stuff right now. I'm in a freaking rental car. And I'm not crying because I can't buy the $30 Halloween costume. That's not the point. The point is, like, anyways, let's go to Walmart. Let's try to find what we can find.
So I'm confused. If Red Scare propaganda made the average American think socialism, ooh, big, scary, bad, can never work, makes everybody starve to death, and a socialist runs for office and they win and they make everybody's lives better, would that not help push Americans towards socialism? Like, would that not help Americans, like, have socialism in the public conscience? Like, hey, this guy who got elected made his constituents' lives 100 times better. Maybe socialism is actually good. Maybe I should read into this socialism. Maybe I should support a socialist organization, right? Because right now they think we're crazy dictator supporters who wants to, I don't know, kill everybody and make everybody starve to death. Like I understand not wanting to support or vote for like liberals or conservatives, but like I don't get it with socialists. Like don't we want to support socialists? Like, I know voting isn't going to fix everything, but literally nobody be saying that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying voting is going to fix everything, but it's like, why not support a socialist candidate and then help them show everybody that socialism actually helps people, right? Like I think that's pretty good for socialists. Like that's where people kind of lose me on.
I voted for the president because I thought he was going to take America back again. I didn't think he was going to take funding away from my schools, and we're going to have class sizes that are going to get bigger, and I'm going to lose teachers, and God forbid it actually goes into the funding because those kids rely on that money because some of them eat lunch on Friday. They won't eat again until breakfast Monday morning at school, and that's not what I voted for. I just hope he doesn't do this. Why you think he won't? That's from a video that I just watched of a lady on CNN, an educator, I don't know what capacity she works in education, from Kentucky, who got on, I guess, CNN. She got on some show and was just like appalled. Bell County, Kentucky, wherever that is, and was like, I just can't believe that this is happening. Why can't you? Did any of y'all that voted for him go and actually read about Project 2025 or any of the possible plans that he had before y'all voted for him? I'm going to say no, because the goal that I think was just put a white man back in office, which, you know, the thing about it is that people that look like me and anyone in the world who's ever gone without or been in the position of the oppressed, no matter what happens to us and the amount of power that we get, we still continue to look out and make sure that everyone is taken care of. The issue with those who have always had is that they want to make sure that they're the ones who continue to always have. And they never want to share anything that they have with anybody else, especially those that don't look like them. So it's unfortunate because, yes, the kids are going to suffer. They're going to suffer really, really badly, too. Because if you lose funding and you lose that money to feed them, yes, there will be children who will go hungry for the entire weekend. Yes, there will. And I taught at a Title I school in Houston, Texas. And I'm in a red state, so I understand exactly what that looks like. But God forbid we try to vote for something that could potentially just keep us functioning as a society that cares for all people. God forbid. So it sucks. It really does. And what's even worse is that now we hear about more tariffs that are happening with Canada and Mexico, places that we get our lumber and our produce. And y'all thought the economy was going to get better. And it's actually going to be more expensive to buy our groceries that were already expensive. Those $9 eggs are going to be even more expensive. So it's unfortunate. But if you would have actually done due diligence and not voted in the voting booth based on racism and false Christian ideology and actually did research and thought about things from a different perspective, we wouldn't be in this position.
So thank you to everyone who has watched this video to the end, and as I usually tell my subscribers and my viewers to ensure that you always comment in these videos, because that's the most important part of this video. I'm making your voice heard, right? I'm making mine heard. What about yours? So while Israel has free healthcare with our taxes, Argentina is getting out a bailout with our tax money. Most of Trump's supporters in Mississippi are poor and on welfare. They have in kids in public schools too, and will go and vote for Trump simply because they are racist and they love his racist rhetoric. The Republicans have been underfunded schools for a while because they want to privatize education. They tear public good entities apart, then point and say, see, they don't work. In short, anyone who is voting for Trump while taking advantage of state and government funded services is a complete hypocrite. Most of them can't afford private school for that matter. If the people from Oklahoma could read, they would be furious right now. College towns people, Democrats. Yeah, that's what they say. Exactly. College and universities teach you critical thinking skills. When you start thinking critically, Maga and Trump's entire BS breaks down. I would like to blame the leftists who didn't vote last year. Many leftists are so concerned with winning battles that they lose the war. They never think about long-term goals, instead focus on each and every action being morally pure, which is impossible, and then wonder why they can't make progress. We also need to focus on the messaging, because once you learn how bad Democrats are at messaging and how good Republicans are at messaging, look up at veterans and the military lives. Republicans own the gold star, but have 50 years voting against any improvement in veteran benefits or military life. I heard all the time that Democrats were better socially, but Republicans were better fiscally, until I look into it. And the fact is that our economy does better in every single metric by which we can measure it. GDP, stocks, cost of living, satisfaction, whatever, job growth, etc. under Democrat policies. So our main problem, I think, is messaging. Messaging is our real problem. That's why maybe we can't win the House, we can't win the Senate, we can't win the presidency. Messaging, right? Republicans have been awful in everything, but their messaging is always good. So what I usually say is talk blue, listen blue, watch blue, vote blue. And until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.